Hi, my name is Aaron Hartley with ForeverAnalog.net. Today I wanted to go through a record that I bought years ago that has really climbed in value, that surprised me when I was going through my Discogs collection. Um, I'll give you a little bit of a story about that in a minute, but first, when the pandemic began back in early 2020 and everyone was kind of stuck inside, I said to myself, this is the time to get your Discogs life in order. I have tried for years to get all of my records cataloged in Discogs, and for years I have failed. I'll always get started and I'll get a few entered, and then I'll get tired and then I'll stop. And I think it's usually because I would start with like the Beatles or Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd or something like that. And as anybody knows, searching and trying to find the right release for those is overwhelming. And I would start with that and then I would give up. So in April of 2020, I got everything organized, got all my records, properly, alphabetized, and I said, all right, I'm going to do it. Now, I have my records stored in IKEA Kallax shelves, where they each have a cube. And so I said to myself, just do one cube a night. You can do one cube a night. So I'd usually turn on a baseball game, basketball game, hit mute, turn on some great music, and just get to work cataloging. And I finally made it through. I think I ended up having to enter in about 1,800 records, so it took a while, but I got it done. And one of the things that kept encouraging me to keep going was sort of seeing the minimum, median, maximum value of my collection grow. I think that's sort of like the drug of your Discogs collection, is being like, I can't believe, it's telling me that my collection is worth this much. And then once I got them all in, I would sort them by maximum value and be surprised at what records I had bought over the years that had jumped way up in price. And one of those albums that I'll show you in a minute really took me by surprise, but I wanted to kind of give you a quick story about where I found it. Back in 2016, my grandmother celebrated her 90th birthday in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so I do what I do before I go to every town. I Googled Little Rock, Arkansas record stores, and I found one called Arkansas Record and CD Exchange. And so I put it on top of my list and I said, we got to go by there. So we were able to swing by before we were leaving. And when you walk in the store, to your left, everything looks like your typical record store. There's some record shelves, CD shelves, cassette shelves, everything looks normal. Well, the owner had said, is there anything I can help you find? And I was like, no, I'm just browsing. And I, just kind of brushed him off. And at as I was shopping a little bit later, my wife was like, Aaron, look over here. So I kind of look over to the right, and she was like waving me over. And so I go to the right of the store, and there's a hallway that wasn't visible when I first came in, and it's just stacked floor to ceiling of records. They're all in sleeves. Everything is just in great condition. And so I took a picture, like, I can't believe I'm standing around all these records. And so I immediately just started going through everything. I was like, oh, we're going to be here for a while. It was funny because the owner was like, I would have told you those were back there if you'd said you needed help. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I've just been going to record stores my whole life. I didn't think to ask if there was a hallway with records stacked upon each other, but next time I will. So I started going through them all, and one of the records that I found that I just couldn't pass up was this 1987 release of Soundgarden's Screaming Life EP. This is actually an orange vinyl press. It was a limited edition pressing. I believe it was between 500 or 600 copies. Like I said, the vinyl is orange, and it's actually cut at 45 RPM. One of the things I like about this was, if you think about 1987, that was obviously before before grunge blew up and was really big. So the dead wax on both sides of this, one, I think on side A, it says "Go by Green River," and side B, the dead wax says "Go by Malfunction." So I thought it was kind of cool that they gave props to other bands in the area, at that time, for people, if they were looking in the dead wax for music recommendations, they would find that they could go buy that there. So again, this was released in 1987. Look, and if you see here, I left this on here. So I actually paid $75 for this. Now, at the time, $75 was kind of a lot of money for me. Like, I was used to buying more quantity of records rather than quality. So if I went to a store and I saw a $75 record I want, I'd probably pass on it and buy $75 worth of, a stack of records that I could bring home and listen to, maybe discover new music. But when I saw this copy and the orange, the orange colored vinyl, I knew I had to have it. I didn't know at the time that it was a limited edition press or anything like that. I just pulled it off the shelf and added it to my stack. Now, recently, so back to Discogs, when I was looking up sort of sorting by my maximum value, this one is like number 3 in my collection. And it's recently sold, I think the lowest was like $130, median maybe $240, $250, something like that. And then the highest that it's ever sold was $600. Now, the $600 copy, it had a photo of the band and a press release on the inside. So it was either a radio station copy or maybe it was a copy sent to someone in the press to write about the album. Not exactly sure. It kind of drops down from, sales from there, but I can see why that one probably fetched as much money as it did. But like, again, I was surprised to see, that even the median price being what it is. Currently 2 copies for sale. I think the lowest of the 2 is at $395. So I just couldn't help but kind of laugh when I looked at that and thinking to myself, I can't believe I spent $75 on this record at the time, and now it's shot up through the roof. So that's kind of one of the interesting things about, collecting records these days, especially if you've been buying, I've been buying records for over 20 years now, maybe closer to 25, which feels weird to say. And I know that there's people out there that have been collecting records their whole life, and they were buying brand new records at $4 or $5 a piece. And if they've kept those and they're still in great condition, just what the value on those would probably be is surprising. But I always think it's great to kind of go through your Discogs and see if there's something that jumps out that surprises you. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. Whenever I go to a new town and go record shopping, I always try to see if there's something, if I like the store and I find really great stuff there, I always try to see if there's something I can bring home, from the store itself. Not a big t-shirt guy necessarily, but if they have a record bag, I usually always try to pick up a record bag. I always figure it's a great way to help support the store directly. Obviously I'm buying records and such, but just buying a piece of merch, goes direct to the store. So when I was at the store in Little Rock, I couldn't pass up this bag. I think this may have been actually the first record bag that I thought, I'm going to buy that just so I'll always remember coming here. So I just love the way this bag is. The store is established in 1984. I think the thing that sold me is the We Go Deep. Once I saw that on the bag, I knew I had to have it. And since then, I've been picking up bags whenever I can. This is one of my favorites to take when I go to a record show or something and I need to have a bag that I can stash all the records that I'm buying in. So that was a record that surprised me. Please feel free to leave a comment below if there's any records in your collection that have surprised you in the same way. Thanks for watching.